So today's topic is behavioral issues. This is going to be presented by Jenna Brimmer. She is a licensed master social worker.
So what we're going to talk about today is common issues that happen, caregiver adjustment, so our own kin care adjustment when that happens, behavioral intervention, and then some resources that we can utilize when they come into care. So some common issues that happen are going to be transitioning between caregivers. These can result from family disruption, changes in the family structure, substance use, homelessness, CYFD calling us in the middle of the night from the hospital, CYFD calling when they pick up a kiddo and they're on the 40-hour hold, right? It has an all-inclusive list, right? Kiddos come to us from multiple different places, right? So it can be from a caregiver passing away, and then another family member stepping in. It can be from a family member just dropping off a kiddo on your doorstep and kind of never coming back. So it can be a lot of different things for a kiddo coming into your care. These transitions can often be abrupt, right? So sometimes our kiddos have to leave home, friends, schools, belongings, and pets in the middle of the night. So that can cause a lot of different behaviors, right? So think about if you had to leave things all of a sudden, right? Things that you really care about, it will really cause a lot of different behaviors. These negative coping behaviors can often be outbursts, right? So our kiddos yelling, screaming, having dysregulation, not knowing how to cope. So, you know, 1 minute we're happy, 1 minute we're angry, defiance, not wanting to follow your directions, not wanting to follow your rules, not wanting to follow the routine you have, food disruption, not wanting to eat, overeating, bad hygiene, so not wanting to take a shower, bathe, refusing to go to school, right? So right now we have a lot of online school. So our kiddos don't want to go to school online, they don't want to log in. I have some kiddos for personal experience that don't want to log in at all. So they're like unplugging their laptop. It's not charged. They're hiding the computer. Behavioral issues at school. So when they're in-person school, then they're acting out, yelling, pushing other students, finding other ways to do things that whatever gets them out of that class environment, right? So behind educationally, right? So they're not up to their educational level. Maybe they're enrolled in a 3rd grade level, but they're really performing at a 1st grade level, right? So all these things kind of happen for them educationally and behaviorally to get them kind of behind. They have negative peers, so they're not hanging out with someone that you would like. Negative peers can be someone who maybe is using substances, encouraging them to sneak out at night, encouraging them not to talk to you about things, encouraging them to do other bad stuff that you just don't agree with, right? And again, I could create a huge list, but it's all different from family to family, right? We all disagree with different things. And then there's substance use, so it could be the parents doing substances, the kiddo doing substances, and substances range from smoking, marijuana, alcohol, all sorts of different substances a kiddo can use. And then we ask kind of, why is this happening now? Safety. So our kiddos feel safe now, right? So why are all these big behaviors happening today? Our kiddo feels safe to act out, right? They feel like no matter what's going to happen, you're still going to be there for them right now, tomorrow. You're not going to leave them. You're not going to take them somewhere else. You're still going to be there for them at the worst moment and the worst day and the biggest that they have. You're still going to get them from school when they act out. You're still going to be there for them and make them dinner. You're still going to love them and sit with them even when you're having the worst moment and they scream at you and tell them that you hate them, right? That'll be okay. And then uncertainty, right? That they're unsure about the stability they have. They feel that it'll change, right? That even though you're stable today, you're not going to be stable tomorrow. So they're acting out to kind of push those boundaries, right? They're going to push the limits to feel what consequences they're going to have, to feel what rules and structure you're really going to put into place. And if it's still going to be there tomorrow, right? So they're really just going to keep pushing those limits and pushing those limits to make sure that you're still going to be there, right? It's not anything against you. They're just trying to make sure that it's still in place. You're still there. So next thing we're going to talk about is caregiver adjustment, right? What are the things that you go through as a kin caregiver when your kiddo comes into care with you? And we have a quote first. I apologize, I have to. Okay. So our quote is, "I had no idea that I could be this tired. My 62-year-old legs are no match for his 3-year-old ones, but he does keep me going and his smiles are worth everything to me." By Anonymous from the Kinship Parenting Toolbox. So even though I feel like I can't do it, I can keep going and going and going just to keep up with him. I feel like this quote is really true. Before I did this training today, I just felt like I needed to call my own grandparents who raised me and ask them what advice would they give to a room full of kin caregivers who are raising their relatives or their grandkiddos. And they said to just keep going and give them everything you've got and connect them to things they need and treat them like you would any other caregiver or any other kid that was your own. Right? Love them no matter what. And I love that advice that I could pass on. So that's kind of what this says, right? Like I just keep going and going and going no matter what. Caregivers, we go through our own transitions when taking in kin, right? Not just our kiddos. Our kiddos go through tons and tons of transitions, but as kin caregivers, you go through your own as well. And kind of the first one we always think about is grief, right? Grief can be the loss of your own child, the loss of a relative. It can be the loss of self, the loss of your sense of normalcy, right? You have your own routine, your own life you're living before your kiddo comes into your care. It can be the loss of something you have to give up when you take a kiddo into care, right? It has to be a number of things, right? It's not an all-inclusive list because everyone's unique. So it could be something that you're grieving, right, when a kiddo comes into care. One that some caregivers have talked about with me is giving up retirement, whether it's going from retirement to a job, cashing in your retirement plan early, going back to work another position, or just completely just losing that dream altogether, right? You have to keep working and working to support the kiddo you have. Role transition, right? So becoming a grandparent to parent, or aunt to parent, uncle to parent, brother to parent, right? So complete change in what you're doing now, right? So you have this thing where you're changing who you are. And this kind of leads to our next slide that we have, which is becoming an authority figure. So maybe you're changing from being the relative or friend who was spoiling this kiddo, right? Giving them presents, taking them places, to now you have to be the one who's creating all these rules, all the structure, right? Which can then, like we talked about a minute ago, lead to your kiddo having, all these behaviors, right? They're not sure what to do anymore because you used to be the parent or person who was taking them places. You didn't really have rules, you didn't enforce anything. And now today, all of a sudden, you're making them have a bedtime, no more chocolate before dinner, right? So all these things have switched, right? And it doesn't make sense for you, it doesn't make sense for them, and that's kind of what happens, right, for all these behaviors. Then we have another big transition for you and the kiddo, right? Is that the intense schedule, right? So you become a kin caregiver, there may be a schedule you didn't have before, right? That you have to go to school, maybe you have to go to work at the same time. There's activities you're taking your kiddo to, like soccer, baseball, basketball. You have to go to counseling for kiddo. You have medical appointments for them. Maybe your CIP is involved and you have to have appointments for them as well. Maybe there's still family involved. You have to go to family visitation with them. The schedule and this routine, right, can start to create structure, but it's also, like we talked about, uncertainty for the kiddo. Maybe they haven't had this big of a structure before, this big of a schedule, so they're just kind of waiting for it to not be present anymore. So kind of like we talked about, pushing those boundaries to see how long can this last, right? How long can I get away with being upset and angry if this just kind of fall out? Because it's happened to them before, like unsure. And another transition that we have for caregivers is financial stress. Right, that might be a new thing we haven't experienced. Is with kiddos, we have to buy school supplies, school shoes, backpacks. Then we have appointments. Maybe we have a deductible or a copay we have to pay. All these new things come into play, right? And then kiddos grow so fast, right? Like one day we're wearing one thing, and the next day we're wearing a new thing, and then we need things for sports. So we have all this stuff that comes in it, and that's something that can be stressful, right? There's always something else we feel like we have to have, and then we have the grocery budget that changes. Right, because kiddos eat a lot. Oh my goodness! I had siblings for a whole summer, and I couldn't believe how much they ate. About a month's worth of groceries was gone in a day. Couldn't believe it. I was super shocked. Oh my goodness, that was just crazy for me. You have a whole new transition there, right? All these things that happen, and then we talk about navigating services and needs as a caregiver, right? So now when we talk about following our schedule, we have to navigate all those services and needs when we have to go to school. How do we navigate getting them in the right classes? Maybe they have to go to an IEP meeting, or they need a 504 plan. How do we navigate the meetings, counseling, or how do we even navigate CYFD? How do we navigate our needs as a kin caregiver with the needs of family and other family members being involved? So we have all the things that we're trying to navigate that are new, or maybe before we just saw everyone at a family dinner, or saw them for a moment, and now all this happened overnight, right? So trying to get to those transitions can be hard. Interventions to kind of get through these things. Interventions are things that we do for our kiddos to help them get through stuff, these hard moments. Talk about brain development and attachment kind of go hand in hand. There's these things that we're talking about where we have an intense schedule, we help them with routines, those help build attachment and help their brain development get through these hard behaviors that they have. So some building blocks of that attachment to help with their brain development are emotional regulations for caregiver, attunement, consistent response, and the routine rituals. So emotional regulations for caregiver is where we help ourselves regulate our own emotions so that we can help our kiddo regulate theirs, right? Because if we don't regulate our emotions, we can't help our kiddos regulate theirs, right? So for example, if I come and I'm angry and I'm yelling and kiddo's angry and yelling, but I'm asking him to be calm while I'm angry and yelling, he's not going to be calm at all. He's going to still yell at me because I'm yelling. It's not going to make sense to his brain why I'm asking him to be calm, but I'm yelling at him, right? So I've got to figure out how to make myself calm, whether that's taking deep breathing, whether that's taking a moment for myself and stepping out for a minute, whether that's, saying, okay, I'm all right, just taking a moment and talking myself through it, finding that moment just to kind of take a breath. That way I can tell him to use his coping skills that he has. And then attunement, right? So being in tune with my own kiddo's emotions, knowing that he's angry and I'm angry, and how we kind of come in that moment together, right? And then we have consistent response. So every time my kiddo's angry, I have to be consistent in my response, right? So if he's angry, I have to sit with him and be like, let's take a breath. Tell me why you're angry. I can't always be like, one moment I'm going to say, let's use our coping skills, and the next minute I'm going to yell, right? That's not going to build attachment. Kiddo's going to continue to be dysregulated and upset every time. Same thing if I was to go to you as a caregiver and I said, well, today I want you to be calm, and so you're angry, let's take a breath. And the next moment you were angry, I just started yelling at you and screaming. You're not going to want to talk to me. You're going to be like, no, I'm going the other way. I'm done, right? No one's going to want that. Trust me, no one at all. The same thing with routine rituals, right? If today we have school and school's from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. and we want a snack at noon because maybe we're going to have a late lunch, and we want the same thing the next day when it's classes from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., right? We want a late lunch, a late snack, and then lunch at the same time. We don't want to do lunch at 11 and then a snack at 2 o'clock, right? That kind of throws us off, right? Same thing for us as adults, right? It kind of messes us up. We want the same thing for our kiddos. That way they have routines and rituals and helps them kind of get regulated and build that attachment with us. So then we have emotional regulation for caregivers, right? Not taking child's behavior personally. So nothing they do is an attack on you, right? These are things that they're having because of things that happen to them, right? The events that happen in their life, it's a reaction that they don't know how to control yet. So we're trying to figure out how to help them through these things, whether it's giving them those coping skills, whether it's sitting with them, trying to figure those things out, right? So knowledge of trauma responses, right? So knowing how our kiddos react to their trauma moments, right? Whether it's knowing that in a moment when the door shuts really loudly, they're going to freak out, they're going to yell, they're going to scream, they're going to kick something. So knowing that we have to just be calm in that moment with them to model calmness for them, right? And being aware of those things, so self-monitoring skills, knowing that I'm upset when they're upset, so how do we get calm in that, right? So building supports and resources, so having a network of people that can help you, whether it's someone who lives with you, whether it's another relative that can help you when you get overwhelmed with their behavior, whether it's like we talked about having other services involved, like counseling or a support group for them, maybe it's a counselor at school they like or a teacher at school they like. And then we also have one of our first trainings on our website is over trauma. If you want to learn more, it's a little bit more in depth than just this kind of brief overview. We'll kind of get more in depth about how we can help our kiddos regulate during trauma. And then we have attunement. So understanding the child's perspective, understanding a child's triggers, and reflective listening skills. Right. So understanding that when a child is upset, just knowing that from their perspective, what's happening right now is really scary, right? So when that door slammed, to them, that was fight, flight, or freeze, right? That was just really terrifying for them. It was, this word uses the word triggers, but maybe it was a trauma reminder, right? It reminded them of something that happened that was frightening. Someone in their past slammed the door and then something bad happened afterwards. right? So it's reminding them of this really frightening event. We have to understand from their perspective, they just want protection, they want to be safe, and they're not able to, right? And so utilizing our reflective listening skills and asking them questions and listening to them like, well, why is that scary? What can I do for you right now? How can I help you? Can I just sit here with you? Maybe I can just be in the room with you as we kind of figure this out and figure out how to be calm right now. Maybe we don't want to be calm. Maybe we just want to breathe through it. Maybe we just want to do something else, hug a teddy bear, color, do something that's kind of age appropriate for your level. And for our next step, we have consistent response. Right, so what are some things that we can do consistently to help our kiddos through these things? Right, so we talked about routines and rituals. Right, so we talked about having our school schedules the same, right? We have the snacks at the same time, doing things with your kiddo that are together. So share things, whether that's you guys go to the store together, you get up in the morning, have breakfast together, maybe you read a story together at bedtime. If your kid's older, maybe you sit and watch the same TV show together and you talk about what you liked about it. Maybe you read a chapter book instead of a picture book. Find something that everyone enjoys together that you can do for a routine. And then individual, find something your kiddo can do together, do individually as a routine, right? Maybe if they're younger, they can put their shoes on and get dressed by themselves. Maybe they can pick up their own lunch for school since we're all still a little bit at home right now. Finding something that's important for them to have a set routine to kind of have balance in their day. I'm going to talk about regulation, and regulation, how this is important. So we regulate because it provides a safe environment, supports connection, builds emotional tolerance, and confirms needs will be met. So knowing that emotions come and go is important, right? So we're not going to be angry all day consistently, right? We're going to be angry in one moment, sad in the next, happy in the next. So letting our kiddos know that it's okay to have anger right now, they're going to be happy in a minute, and we're not going to have this emotion all day, right? The same thing with us as adults. I'm not angry all day. I'm not sad all day. Then my emotions kind of come and go. And then the supports connection with our kiddos, letting them know what's happening and connecting with them with these emotions. Everyone has them, right? We're also teaching them these emotions when we're talking to them, right? And that supports connection. So we're teaching them that they're the same as everyone else having this vast range of emotions, right? They don't feel alone and isolated on an island when they feel like they have this big anger that's exploding from them, right? Just letting them know that everyone has these feelings, right? We all feel them differently, but we all have them. And then building emotional tolerance, right? Like, I can tolerate this emotion because you're helping me through it. You're sitting with me as I have it, right? Also confirm so then your needs will be met, right? I'm going to sit here with you when you're angry, happy, sad, mad, jealous, all 1,000 emotions, right? No matter what, I'm going to be here with you, meeting these needs, no matter what. And then also kiddos regulates. And then if I'm okay, you're okay, right? So if you're able to stay calm, you can help your kiddo stay calm as well and get back on track with it. So one of the things that helps us be okay if you're okay is being a detective and know what things may trigger your kiddo, right? So what soothes them, what agitates them, what makes them upset. So kind of watching your kiddo know what gets them there, right? Know what kind of reminds them of the things that don't make them okay. Sometimes I recommend writing things down. You notice a pattern for your kiddos that we can remind you of it. If you notice, like every time my kiddo is in a room that's super cold, they panic. Every time my kiddo sees a blue car, they start crying. Every time my kiddo wears a certain shirt, they get really agitated. If they wear socks, they panic, right? So writing these things down, kind of becoming a detective helps. It can be a little frustrating, right? When we're caregivers and like everything we do seems to make our kiddo mad when they first come to us. Like everything. They eat SpaghettiOs, they're upset. They eat rice, they're upset. We give them broccoli, they cry. Everything we do, right, makes them upset. We have to kind of become detectives so we can kind of keep track of these things and get them where we want them and help them kind of recover, right? It's kind of what that is, getting them to a better place so that everything we do doesn't make them upset or get them yelling or screaming, right? Kind of helping them become to a better place and help. As long as we're calm, right, they stay calm. So if we're calm in that moment, we can get them to a calmer place. So when we're identifying emotions with our kiddos, we can understand and express emotions, identify emotions in oneself and others. So some cues that help us identify these emotions are body language, tone, eye contact, right? And we help build emotional vocabulary, and then we understand triggers and responses. Right. So children who have experienced trauma may have learned to disconnect with their feelings or to use unhealthy coping skills to deal with them, right? So by helping them to understand and express emotions, we're helping them to kind of unlearn this behavior from not dealing with them, from avoiding them, right? We're helping them to learn that it's okay to have these feelings, it's safe to have them, it's okay to be present with them, you're here with them. By having sadness or happiness, nothing bad's gonna happen. I'm sitting right there with you and have them, right? So we can watch our kiddos and know that by body language, tone, eye contact, which feelings they're having. But sometimes we can be wrong. I'm not going to lie. I watched a kiddo one time and thought they were happy. And they told me they were angry, right? So it's always good to ask your kiddo which feeling they're having, right? So they can label their own emotions. And that's kind of part of that building that emotional vocabulary, right? Because if I label your feeling, I can be wrong, right? I can tell you, I think you're jealous right now. And I could be like, no, I really like what's going on, right? We whole polar opposites. So having your kiddos label that emotion for them so they can have that emotional vocabulary. It will definitely change over time as kiddos get older. They'll change their emotions, what they are. So understand triggers and responses. So understand when your kiddo's happy, what kind of caused the happiness? What was around that caused it? What was for anger? What was around when it happened? What's the response when they're happy? Do they jump up and down and run 5 miles? Do they get something to show you when they're angry? What happens when they're angry? Do they kick, scream, yell? Do they get silent? Do they sit down on the floor and not talk to anyone? What are the responses when these things happen? That way you can kind of become that detective and have them help. Then we have this little chart for labeling our emotions. If you can name it, you can tame it. Right? So we have angry, which is angry, furious, explosive, which can be yelling, stomping, melting down. We have frustrated, annoyed, irritable, which can be arguing, refusing, shutting down. We have anxious, worried, unsettled, which can be pacing, avoiding, clanging. There's sad, negative, lonely, which can be crying, withdrawn, slowed, disengaged. There's happy, calm, content, which can be smiling, laughing, and engaged, right? So all these different emotions, different things can happen, right? And maybe different things can mean different things for different kiddos, right? So if you have a kiddo who's angry, maybe they're going to argue with you instead of be yelling. And maybe you have a kiddo who's happy who might pace when they're happy, right? So it just kind of depends on your kiddo and what experiences they've had in life, right? So these aren't concrete examples. Each one of us is different, right? So your kiddo may jump up and down when they're happy. Your kiddo may, when they're anxious, instead of pacing, they may cry, right? So every kiddo is different and unique, and kind of that's why we're the detective to figure out what their emotions mean. So modulation, we have degrees of feeling using number scales and thermometers. So helping our kiddos kind of figure out what degree they feel. Are they on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the lowest they feel, 10 being the highest they feel? Are they, if they're a 10 today, what does that mean? Are they super happy? Are they angry? And then on a 1, are they not okay today, but they're fine, right? So kind of getting that balance for them so they can figure it out. And then on the thermometer, at the bottom of the thermometer, are they happy? And the top of the thermometer, is it angry and then breaks, right? So getting that modulation for them so they can get a baseline that kind of figured out. And then link that degree to the name of feeling, right? So kind of get that figured out for them so they can have a baseline and you can have a baseline. And they can kind of tell you, well, today I'm in the middle. I'm in the middle of my thermometer. Right? So you can kind of walk up to you and have that communication skill figured out. And then for modulation, kind of normalizing the expression of emotions at different energy levels, right? So if they're at the middle of the thermometer, that's normal for them and that's okay. So at the top of the thermometer, that's okay too, right? But what's not okay is we don't want to normalize the way they express like unsafe feelings, right? We don't normalize that it's okay to go break something or hit things or kick things or hurt you or hurt themselves, right? Those are things that we want to do, right? So safe versus unsafe emotional expression, right? It's safe for them to have coping skills. It's safe for them to yell on pillows, those kind of things, but it's unsafe for them to use emotions in an unhealthy way where they're hurting the environment or hurting themselves. And then we have an example of a thermometer, right? So we have thermometer, this one's happy, calm, content. And then what you can do about it when you're happy is help someone engage in enjoyable activity. Then at the top of it, we have angry, right? So this one, it says what you can do is you can take a warm shower, breathe deep breaths, vigorous physical exercise. And then in the middle, there's different ones about being frustrated, anxious, sad, negative, and lonely, and the different ways that what you can do about it, right? And these things can change with your kiddo, right? So different things that help with your kiddo. Some kiddos may not want to meditate and pray if they're frustrated, right? They're frustrated, maybe you can't sit still. Maybe you can't listen to music when you're frustrated. And then for sad, when you're crying, maybe you aren't in a place to set up positive music or journal about your feelings. Maybe you have to do something else. Right? So finding things that work for your kiddo in that moment for their thermometer and where it matches them. Right? Everyone is very different. And some kiddos, I've had some examples where some kiddos, when they're angry, want to go run like a whole block around the yard. They just want to keep running and running and running. Right? So we all do different stuff when we have feelings. And then this one, we have that I use an example. I usually this on a plate. So we have our green zone. When I'm in the green zone, I am calm, speaking with a normal tone. When I'm in the yellow zone, I am irritated, agitated. And then when I'm in the red zone, I am yelling, screaming, pushing, throwing. And so usually what you do is you have your kiddo have a spinner in the middle, or you can have your kiddo put a sticker on one of the colors to tell you what they're on, and then tell you what their green zone means for them or their red zone means for them. And that way is another way to use the modulation tool for them. And that's one that you can leave on your fridge. You can leave it on your kiddo's wall. They can leave it in their room and then bring it out to you. And it's a way that they can communicate with you how they're doing without having a huge interaction and kind of pulling it out of them. Sometimes that's a little easier for kiddos. Right. And then some other positive modulation skills that we have are diaphragmatic breathing, so deep breathing going in and out, grounding, what are 5 things in the environment that you can see, what are 4 things you can touch, what are 3 things you can taste, what are 2 that you can hear, and then I think what is 1 thing that you can smell. I think I might have double dipped in a sense, but using all 5 senses, what are the things that you can do in your environment? Movement, so running around, doing some yoga, stretching, just going from room to room. Sometimes some kiddos like to suggest changing clothes. Sometimes they feel like completely different when they change a whole outfit. So doing that one. Muscle relaxation, so again, kind of deep breathing, sitting and doing yoga. Some kiddos will tense their muscles and then relax them. Doing that one can help. So visualization, right? So thinking of a place that you want to go, maybe thinking of a beach, maybe you like being on the Bosques, so thinking of that. Hiking, thinking of a place that you have a favorite hike here in the city. And then addressing self-harm behaviors when appropriate. So if your kiddo has self-harming behaviors, creating a safety plan with an appropriate professional on how to do that with your kiddo and what works best in that situation, whether it's the appropriate modulation skills we have here, whether it's having a safety plan in place with your contact when those things happen, and then utilizing the safety skills that they have for you, whether that's deep breathing that we have, whether that's, I would say for those ones, yeah, just using the safety plan that the professional creates for you because it's going to be tailored to your kiddo specifically. And then expressing emotions, right? So how do we get our kiddos to help express emotions when they're struggling too? So using I statements. So I feel mad because my mom didn't show up to the visit today. And when she doesn't show up, I really get upset. What I need is to see her. Right? I really miss her. So using an I statement to express the feeling and then saying what I need. Right? So develop routine discussions. So have a moment maybe in the week that you can develop a time to talk to the kiddo about the things that they're needing, what's going on, right? Encourage open communication, be available for your kiddo when they can come talk to you about things, whether that's at dinner time, whether that's just anytime I talk with you, that they'll be heard. So what the kiddos like to do is they like to often walk up to parents and caregivers and just say one piece of information, see how it's received, walk away, and then come back a little bit later and to give you the rest of it, right? So kind of drop in the bucket. Like, well, I told you this one thing, but you didn't react well, so I'm not going to tell you anything else, right? They kind of like to say that a little bit, and then they'll come back a little bit later. So always be open for communication to do that, right? I teach the importance of expressing their feelings. So when they tell you their feelings, kind of expressing that their feelings are valid, everything they feel is important, right? So have that, and then teach them those feelings I talked about earlier, right? So all the feelings they feel are there, they're valid, and then tell them about your own feelings and help them label them. Right? Identify safe people, right? So create a circle of trust. Identify someone that if they're not comfortable yet with you, who is someone else in your family or your network that they can talk with. That's a circle of trust, someone that you trust as well. And then demonstrate that you trust this person by having conversations that are appropriate in front of your kiddo, that they can see that you trust this person by watching your body language and the communication you use and the language that you use. That way they can see, oh, okay, my caregiver does trust this person. I can talk with them as well, right? Whoever that may be that you like. Nonverbal skills. So your tone of voice, physical space, eye contact, these are all things that help your kiddo develop regulation, right? So if we have a calm voice, our physical space doesn't change, right? We're not like rushing at our kiddo. We're not using whole lots of, you can't see me, but I'm like using whole lots of like hand movements because my hands are down below the Zoom screen. I wouldn't do that in front of a kiddo. That probably wouldn't create a whole lot of regulation skills. They probably get a little dysregulated. Eye contact, kind of figuring out what the best form of eye contact is for your kiddo. If they don't like a lot of eye contact, kind of figuring out what's the best amount. Often enough when our kiddos come into care, they don't like a lot of eye contact because they may not have had a lot of eye contact. They don't know how to do that yet. They're building that skill up, right? So kind of getting that there for them. Explore emotional expression through play, art, writing, movement, drama, music, figuring out how to help them just express who they are through those things, right? So having those available to them, letting them play music and dance, letting them act out things through play, letting them have art, whether it's Play-Doh, markers, crayons, pencils, clay, letting them build stuff, letting them do Lego towers and build rocket ships, right? And letting them blast off, all sorts of things that help them kind of express their emotions, right? Because they can often express anger and all sorts of things through their play, help them get out, as well as stress, right? As adults, we have other means to get out stress. Our kiddos get their stress out through their play. It's amazing what they can show you when they're playing. Right. One of the resources that we have is the UNM Developmental Disability Resource Network. They have a large collection of disability-related books, ebooks, and DVDs in New Mexico. They are available for checkout on site or by the public on their website. These will be, when you check these out, they will be sent to you through the mail, and then you can send them back through the mail as well. So they're available throughout the entire state. They cover a large collection of disability resources, like it says. They also have a phone number that you can call when you go to their website that will help you get connected to disability resources within your county. So if your kiddo is struggling with a developmental disability or struggling with anything else disability related, they will help you get connected to something specifically in your region, and they have a team dedicated specifically to that. There's also the Jumpstart Autism Center. They diagnose and treat children with ASD, and they have home-centered based ADA services. So they're specifically dedicated to kiddos who might have a neurodevelopmental need for care. Then we have Share New Mexico. It's another information resource directory. They are also statewide, and they will, on their website, you can search for information statewide specific to counties across the state, and their website is sharenm.org, and they help you get connected to things as well. And then, of course, you have our website, which is fosteringfamily.com, and we help with financial, educational, caregiving, mental health, legal, transportation, and housing resources, as well as our peer support group and monthly virtual trainings that are going on. And then, yeah, like I said, we have our support group that's going on, and then we are ready to help. Once you contact us and send us your information through our website, one of our coordinators in 3 counties, or 3 regions, I'm sorry, it's changed a little bit. Our 3 regions will call you and do an intake and triage over the phone and get you connected and started with services, like Robin was talking about earlier in the different programs that we've got involved with here at Fostering Families. And then on our website, we have tons of information available on the trainings that we have done in the past, as well as teen years, like Robin mentioned, and then we go over several other of the other information that we provide for our support group, as well as the other things that we can help you with. All right, so this poem is called The Dance, and it's by Oriah, or at least it's from OriahMountainDreamer.com, and it starts called The Dance, and says, I have sent you my invitation, the note inscribed on the palm of my hand by the fire of living. Don't jump up and shout, yes, this is what I want, let's do it. Just stand up quietly and dance with me. Show me how you follow your deepest desires, spiraling down into the ache within the ache. And I will show you how I reach inward and open outward to feel the kiss of the mystery, sweet lips on my own every day. Don't tell me you want to hold the whole world in your heart. Show me how you want to turn away from making another wrong without abandoning yourself when you are hurt and afraid of being unloved. Tell me a story of who you are and see who I am in the stories I live. And together we will remember that each of us always has a choice. Don't tell me how wonderful things will be someday. Show me you can risk being completely at peace, truly okay with the way things are right now in this moment, and again in the next and the next and the next. I've heard enough warrior stories of heroic daring. Tell me how you crumble when you hit the wall, the place you cannot go beyond by the strength of your own will. What carries you to the other side of that wall, to the fragile beauty of your own humanness. And after we have shown each other how we have set and kept the clear, healthy boundaries that help us live side by side with each other, let us risk remembering that we never stop silently loving those who once loved out loud. Take me to places on the earth that teach you how to dance, the places where you can risk letting the world break your heart. And I will take you to places where the earth beneath my feet and the stars overhead make my heart whole again and again. Show me how you take care of business without letting business determine who you are. When the children are fed, but still the voices within and around us shout that soul's desires have too high a price. Let us remind each other that it is never about the money. Show me how you offer to your people and the world the stories and the songs you want your children's children to remember. And I will show you how I struggle not to change the world, but to love it. Sit beside me in long moments of shared solitude, knowing both our absolute aloneness and our undeniable belonging. Dance with me in the silence and in the sound of small daily words, holding neither against me at the end of the day. And when the sound of all the declarations of our sincerest intentions has died away on the wind, dance with me in the infinite pause before the next great inhale of the breath that is breathing us all into being. Not filling the emptiness from the outside or from within, don't say yes, just take my hand and dance with me.